Let's listen up. Let's listen up. And cultism and other social vices on campus.
That club is not important. You don't just have to start with something. I just have 20 minutes to talk to us. I want you to clap for your vice chancellor. You know what is the word? I don't know if you understand what that means. It's fast becoming a thing of Esut to the world. When you read it, he traveled out, he didn't just travel, he came back and ensured that he came back with something worthwhile. When the school becomes the center of driving AI, in an age of AI, in a country such as ours, in a part of the country such as ours, then I'm sure you know that it's no longer Esut for Igbo and Nigeria, it's now Esut to the world. So clap for this. The Vice Chancellor of this very wonderful citadel of learning, my father, I also call him a friend. He said, over 1 decade ago, 10 years ago before now, he was my lecturer. And today I have the opportunity to stand in his presence and talk to an audience that I was actively part of. About 10 or 15, close to 15 years now, when I was in the University of Nigeria. And I've not stopped. So last 2 years, 2024, I was there to also talk to students. I don't know if any of us will recall. And as I then I was doing my MSc. Currently, I'm a doctoral and members and other principal officers of the university. My co-keynote presenter here present, outgoing ex-UG executives, ex-Senate president, the incoming ex-UG executive, invited guests. I know we have invited guests here. Are the greatest Nigerian students. Are the greatest Nigerian students. Are the greatest papa. Are the greatest Ogo. I want to lecture. Clap for me, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Like you've been told, my name is Daniel Utukwe. I'm a Secretary of Police and a Police Public Relations Officer in the State Command. Please, I am here by God's grace to talk to us. I'm not just talking to those to be inaugurated. I also have the privilege to talk to every one of us as students. And when the letter came and I was asked to come and make this presentation, I was asked to come up with a topic. And the only thing that came to mind very quickly, bearing in mind that we live in an environment where certain things could easily thrive, was to look at choices, to look at character, to look at consequences. How are we going to confront cultism and other social vices on campus? It's very important and very timely. It's one story that has not ended. It's one story that may never end. So the ugly and very sad thing is that when you talk about cultism, when you talk about social vices, it's moving beyond this sphere. And I would encourage the new SUG, please, as much as possible. I want to believe you have plenty on your plate to look after thousands of students that this university has in its stock. But I also know, I always will ask, you know, there's no SUG for secondary school, there's SUG for secondary school. But I want you to create a path that will speak for you when you live there. If it is possible, once in a while, it is within the vicinity of Agbani here. Look for a school, go on outreach, mentor students who will be coming to be part of this university in time to come. You know why? You're not only extending a brand, because this school, as far as I know, is a brand. You're also extending what you might want to refer to as the corporate social responsibility of this school. True of us. So please, I charge you, look at that possibility. It may be something simple, it may be something little, even if it's during their devotion ground. You take 10 minutes, you take 5 minutes, you talk to students with your good behavior, you talk them out of autism, you talk them out of social vices. you wouldn't know how far that will speak for you. It will only mean that you're gaining capacity to go beyond the percent of this school to also extend what you know to people out there. It's my honor and a privilege to be the one to speak on this important occasion of the inauguration of the new student union government. I'll begin by first congratulating you people. And I also want to align myself with not just the Dean of the Student Affairs, but more importantly with the Vice Chancellor, to let you know that your emergence is not merely a personal achievement. For some of you, that is what it is. But generally speaking, that is not what it is. For me, it is a call to selfless service. It's an opportunity to live with integrity, an opportunity to inspire positive change, and leave this institution better than you met it. And to every one of us seated here, particularly the students, this occasion is also about you. Leadership is not about those who love us. We think it's about the energy president and vice president and we begin to lose it. So our very focus is why, especially when we have relations because we just think them they are here. We keep creating this gulf, creating this divide, so much so that when they misbehave, you don't even have the capacity to confront anyone with you. So it's not just about them. Every student has a responsibility to lead by influence. Through the choices you make, the values you uphold, and the example you set for others. You are an example. I just talked about the new HCG extending hands of fellowship to secondary school. If you begin to influence them from that level, they begin to understand that they are coming into this bigger stage for something more worthwhile and important, something that they should devote their time, something that they should take their eyes off cultism and other social vices. You're already preparing a future that when you bring them in here, the Vice Chancellor and the management of the university will have just little to take care of because their minds are already prepared to know that they are coming for something big. I'll take this quote very quickly. John Maxwell, those of us who read plenty of these self-help books, he made a very important statement about leadership. He said leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's about influence, and in this sense, it's not just about those elected. It's also about you as a student. There are people who look up to you. Have you traveled back home, your younger ones who are still in the secondary school? They begin to ask you certain questions. They begin to look at you to want to see a little different from who you used to be before you came here. What that simply means is that there's something of influence you are meant to exhibit, not just as a leader or a student leader, but also as a student who has assumed this status of life. Mind you, life, they would always say, is in what? Is in stages, and men are what? Are in sizes. So you have a stage here, and the level of influence you bring will determine how far you are going to go. Now, let me paint a little picture. An example before I find a few foundations, and I'll wrap up this conversation. I don't intend to take so much of our time. Imagine two young men were admitted, let me use that for instance, this is our university here. They were admitted the same day, they came into the same school. Both of them are very ambitious, intelligent, they are very ambitious, they are full of dreams. The VC talked about dreams. Their parents, like they are making for every one of us, they continuously make sacrifices to pay our fees, and we've been encouraged to also access NEL fund. All great guy up here, when I go national cake, you could be part of those that will not believe from the national cake. There's no other way you can benefit from that cake. These two students, both of them aspire to graduate with good grades. They also aspire to build successful career out of here. In their first semester, I'm painting a picture. One joins positive association. That one focuses on the academics. He builds healthy friendship and seeks mentors. He look out for those that will mentor him. Look for the best of relationships you have on campus. And the other one starts on a very wonderful note too. Wonderful in parentheses. He now keeps questionable company. He's introduced to drugs. I know one of the few things that will guide him of those things is that just try them. You know, when you're just try. There's no big deal. Just a tomorrow baby. drink a little bit of this. And then gradually somebody is involved in it. Later he begins to attend secret meetings. And he is being told, just belong. It's just part of it to just belong. Just be part of what we so we have na campus, last. Before long he's involved in intimidation, gets involved in violence, criminal activity become his lord as a student. Two of them went into the same school. They came with the same capacities. But the environment presented choices the two of them have to make. One chose to take the path that is good. The other one chose to take the path of belonging. And some will say in their mind, I don't arrive. You can't arrive until you embark on a journey. It's only a man that has embarked on a journey that will arrive, two of us. If not, there was no journey, there was no arrival. You're only deceiving yourself. 4 years later, one proudly wears a graduation gown. The other wears handcuff in a courtroom. Due to these two paradoxes of two individuals who started the same way, who had the same ambition. But like I said, choices is now determining the outcome of what they will face. Having made those choices, having exhibited the character they ought to exhibit. The two of them entered through the same gate, two of us. Everybody entered through this gate while we were coming here. Two of us. They both entered the university through the same gate. What made the difference about two of them? One living with a graduation gown, the other one is handcuffed in the courtroom. What made the difference? It is not intelligence that made the difference. It is not their family backgrounds that made the difference. It is not luck. You know, some will say, Makana, it's not luck, it's not blind and me or whatever. It's not luck now. The difference was the choices they made. Your admission into this institution opened a door of opportunity. The choices you made while here will determine whether that door leads to success or whether it leads to regret. The choice is all yours. Now let's go straight to the problem. This one chose vices. This one chose to stand with what was right. And then I'm asked to talk about cultism and other social vices. The consequences, the character of the individual and the choices we make. It's very commonsensical to just assume we know the word and we know it. I don't want to sound academic. Because my VC is here, was my lecturer is in the social sciences like myself. If I leave here an empty person, let me leave a little food. And we can walk all here out of here. Because I'm sure I'll be so deflated that I begin to challenge some of the things some of them know. Cultism, in simple terms, it refers to involvement in secret groups whose membership, whose activities and objectives are hidden, and whose operations often involve intimidation, it involves violence, it involves coercion, and other unlawful and criminal acts. On our campuses, cultism has become associated with violent rivalries, assault, extortion, unlawful possession of weapons, sexual violence, destruction of property, and sadly, very sadly, avoidable loss of life. Except you don't want to believe that that is part of what cultism is. I'm here to tell you, because my job demands that I have a record of the fact that it is what it is. In fact, sir, only yesterday I put out a press release, and that press release we arrested 20 persons in 3 operations conducted by our anti-cultism assault unit of the violent crime response unit of the command. 3 different operations. The last set of people were trying to celebrate the show they normally refer to as 7-7. The black guys, the IAs, and others who have the way also celebrate it too. You went to somewhere around the world, you were terrorizing everybody, you were shooting gun and all of that. And when we got means of intelligence, we had to mobilize them. And some of them were arrested, others fled. Now, in all of these operations, we covered 24 motorcycles and 1 person. We had an operation, the other one is at Esut, we raised over in the Gateway area. NBC had a match. We arrested 13 of them. We covered 45 motorcycles, 4 motor vehicles. And as I speak to you, these guys are pulling off in correctional custody. And you look at the age bracket, you just know these are students. The takeoff point was this greenhouse, the back of UNN. From there, they were moving for initiation. I mean, life is sweet like waiting. Somebody will use fire and be burning your buttocks. Somebody will beat and flog you. In this age where people talk like this and somebody collapse and die or dies, you allow somebody to mix up one concoction and deposit in your body system where life expectancy, especially in this part of the world, is virtually zero. And you're still exposing yourself to certain things that will be very injurious to your health. In the name of joining, in the name of belonging, in the name of becoming a part of an organization. One that is not what it should be. Because if you must do certain things in the secret, you already know it's not good. Or you're not just kind of men and so two of us. You don't. And these are the people that are exposing themselves to. The dangers are enormous. They said that you're passed through certain screening. The police, the DSS, and every other person will screen you to be sure that there's nothing wrong, criminal or wrong associated with you. So what will happen if you live here? You might be an intelligence student, you will have graduated. You think companies don't do background checks? You're a liar. Huge companies that are interested in having the best, they do background checks. In fact, even at your individual life, there are times you want to contest for certain things beyond the SUG, and you're reminded that while you were in school, you misbehaved. It has to do with the choices you make. Someone might tell you that it's the best of things to do. Yes, that is always the approach to it. Nobody wants to tell you it's bad. Before long, you're doing drugs. And so this same thing, we have just been arresting people and recovering drugs. So the same operation. Kukurimiri was there. Cocaine was there. Polus was there. Which other one do we have now? Synthetic things that you take and is injurious to your health. Somebody gave an instance of a young man who was sick. And eventually it was realized that the whole of his entire liver was totally damaged. In fact, he was alive but he was already dead. Simply because he has exposed himself to drug abuse, substance abuse, addiction that set in, and eventually his life became a miserable one. I will tell you something, whether as a leader, as a student, you are a brand ambassador. This school is a brand. I worked in the bank where I had a manager. I think he left the bank already. If you bring a document for this man, you be a certificate. If you bring a document printed out that is meant to sign, maybe a customer that has a credit for one service, that means the bank manager, branch manager will sign that. If he looks at that paper and there's a dot of ink over, not that the printer is bad, just that they will excess ink at that document, he will not sign it. And I took one to him like that one day. He said, "Need sign this thing." Are you aware that this is a company, is a brand? Are you aware how the man who received this document will interpret this brand? And I am meant to represent this brand. And I am the one signing. Once this thing goes out there, the person will look beyond the paper. The person will look at the brand. As a student leader, as a student, you are a brand. And to every brand, and what will keep that brand is reputation. If there's nothing of reputation management on your part as an individual, first and as a student of this great institution of learning, then something is amiss. As PRO, if my vehicle is dirty, you know what will occur to me? So I wouldn't want to drive, except it's an urgent thing I will just drive. I consider it's not a big car, it's a small car. If you don't go clean, it's not a problem. And I drive this car and I step out as PRO. Somebody is looking at this PRO in state. Somebody is looking at the guy is driving. I might be looking sweet, I might have won all of what I should get, but the guy is dirty. That guy is an extension of the brand I represent. As a police officer, I see myself as a brand. There are those that will choose to misbehave. Me, I won't misbehave. I know where I'm coming from. I know the name I bear. When you keep police officers, my people will always say, "Oh, my boy, sign your papa's name." And your father's name is a brand. Your community where you're coming from is a brand. This school is a brand. If you choose to take to cultism, if you choose to become even a tool to convince somebody to become a cultism, you're laying a very bad foundation for yourself. Importantly, for those of us who have been elected, you have a responsibility to lead. I say leadership is all about influence, nothing more, nothing less. If you're influencing negatively, eventually you think you're having the best of time, you will live here. You will be remembered for that. And that as a of office. If you catch you at 19 years old. If you are arrested, you go in. In this school, sir, you will become working with you. If I arrested several people from the United States Department of Science, it's not peculiar to this school. I don't know how real or real it is. Of one level of sexual immorality that was credited to a student of this school. Are we aware of that? I think any easy or sometimes. You know, nobody sees the girl again. You look at the video, it's not what you're seeing. You're seeing the name they have mentioned. It's the brand that people will talk about. So if you decide not to be an ambassador, a brand, shunning cultism, leaving all those social vices, who told you is here you come and practice prostitution? Who told you is here you come and learn how to do Yahoo Yahoo? School is not scam. It is the person saying it is scam that is actually scam. Me, I don't believe so. School will not give you everything. And I think I'm in an environment where some persons our attention to people on that certificate. I can't remember someone who is the tertiary institution, the 4 walls of the university have deposited the way that people will see. Nobody sees the certificate in you, whether it be first class or last class. Nobody will see any certificate in you. People will see the character you carry. People will see the choices you make as a student. It's on that note, I don't intend to take so much of our time. I wish I have the whole time. We can give you facts, give you figures. You'll be amazed how many people are getting themselves involved in what is not good for them. Be careful even on social media what you post. Many people have been turned back from embassy simply because you think you have a social media space to yourself. Now you get your life, I mean. You don't want any life. That life you have belongs to God. And you are accountable to God first. In fact, you're also accountable to men or man. So you use your social media platform. Somebody who on his own sat down, took his social media account, he put out the very first news. You remember when they said Fulani herdsmen, they are attacking Eziago, one school in Eziago. Somebody did that. Somebody did the same thing in Esut. And you think we should close our eyes and allow you to have that kind of feeling. You may do it and be successful, but you won't know when you will stay somewhere, we leave you, and begin to ensure that we deal with your problem. I encourage you to use the social media sensibly. Not just because you want to put on the financial and make money. I mean, not having to account for all of these things are consequences. Being a student is a state of mind that you will take responsibility of your life. The most independent age of a young person is when you're in a place like this. Your father and your mother is not your problem. The choices you make are solely yours. You can choose to be that guy that will graduate with graduation gap. You can also choose to be that guy that will graduate with tax cover, send a graduate. I know that other part of his life I didn't do maximum people. It's somewhere around those parts. We can take you there. There's another one at Oji River. Open and we can pack people to all these places. If we can't contain you in anything, we can move you to nearby states. I'll begin to close. I don't want to take so much of our time like this. If the generation shall prove that integrity is stronger than justification, whether as a leader, whether as a society. I urge you to be that generation shall prove that life is more powerful than violence. First of all, I recently talked about that as leaders, we push for so many things. But what you choose to agree with, what you choose to speak with, is what will determine how you care as a leader in the society. And prove that education, not criminality, is the pathway to success. Let this campus be known not for hot clashes. I thank God it's no longer there, but it's happening behind the scene, and we are doing what we can within our limited available resources to ensure that we contain and curtail the activities of cultism. Let this campus be known not for hot clashes or social vices, but for academic excellence, innovation, responsible leadership, and peaceful coexistence. Wherever life takes you after graduation, let people say of you. I'm going to put this, I'll give you a charge. After here, life will take you to so many places. I talked about being a branch. But if you live here, and people don't have cause to look at you and say, oh, this is that great guy from Esut. this is that great girl that made impact, positive ones, then there's something wrong. Your stay here would have been in futility, whether you like it or not. You can graduate with the best of certificates, but when that character is missing, everything is missing. May your choices reflect your values. May your character inspire others. And may your legacies, I beg you, not just the leaders, every other student here present, make this institution proud. Be the brand ambassador of the Enugu State University of Science and Technology. Maintain its reputation at all times. I said this before now. Represent yourself, represent your family, friends, and your community as well. If you're successful, you're for everybody. If you're a failure, you're always for yourself. Or you will be your matter when you choose to do what is not right. But I encourage and implore you, you have the opportunity to begin to write better stories for yourself. To the leaders, you're preparing yourself for things bigger and you can't even imagine. So when I sit down here and look, and I remember the fact that there were times I used to sit here and I would have people listen to people address students, myself inclusive. I wouldn't have imagined if I was ever me that at some point I would be someone standing in a place like this to talk to you. I made several preparations you wouldn't know. I don't play with my experience in life. I don't play with it. And when I'm reminded that I'm here, I know there were times I really consciously or unconsciously where I was preparing for a moment like this I never did. I used to listen to radio very well. I used to try my hands in writing articles. Not now all of us this social media. I used to do little things that were not too common. I would just put my hands, my interest in doing them. I never knew I was actually preparing myself for a stage at a time like this. I may not have anything, but when I look back from where I'm coming from, look at where I am, and where I trust God to be tomorrow, I just know, and I encourage you, that the sky is never your limit. The sky will continually and always be your starting point. But it depends on you doing certain things. Choosing to be a good guy, not a bad guy. Choosing to overcome any of such pressure, peer pressure, come and belong, do a little of this. Oh, I can want things, I can forget. If you take me out, eating as piano now, I will drink water, I don't drink beer. If I want to drink, I choose to do that. I should do it in a responsible manner. I don't want to do that. In fact, if I must come to any audience, I better drink water. Don't hold on to Dutch courage. Develop yourself positively. Remember, you're a brand ambassador, not just only to this school, but to yourself, to your family, and everyone connected and associated to you. Say no to cultism. Say no to social biases. Don't be the next person that will be recorded in one video, and the name to be mentioned will be Esut. Don't be the next person that when there's gangsterism happening somewhere, they look at it, they will see you. As a leader, be of positive influence. Be the one that even the VC can call and ask certain questions. If you're not sure, does not see the capacity in you, you also see you having that character that is required for you to trust in you. As leaders, leading thousands of students who have, then there is a problem. So on that note, that I want to say, with this legacy of mine, I am very sure that I will never for this